section of our business study class. This class is presented to you by Ajay Sadiq Abdullah, and our today's topic is going to be centered on commercial bank. I want you to stay back and pay close attention to the discussion of today's class. So, firstly, we're going to take the introduction of today's class, and as I've said, today's class is centered on commercial bank. So, we are all aware that banks play an important role in buying and selling. Distribution activities also involved in the economy. It is an aid to trade, if you don't forget. Also, people are used to keep their money in different ways. In the olden days, some dig the ground to keep money, some hide money on top of the roof of their houses, and many others. Likewise, but today, through the establishment of banks, commercial banks have been so beneficial to everyone. So this will lead us to today's class discussion. So let's look at the objective of today's class. So at the end of this class, you should be able to 1. Define bank, 2. Give a brief history of commercial banks specifically for Nigeria, and mention the types of banks, and also you should be able to state functions of commercial banks. So that is the objective of our today's class. Let's start with the first objective, which is looking at the meaning and definition of bank. Several scholars and economists have defined what a bank is, but we are limiting ourselves to a particular definition that is generally accepted, which is a bank is an establishment authorized by government to accept deposits, pay interest, collect checks, make loans, act as an intermediary in financial transactions, and provide other financial services to its customers. That's the general meaning and definition of a bank. Likewise, also, money can also be borrowed from banks for business activities or for personal use. So this will lead us to understanding why our discussion is centered on commercial bank. So let's look at the origin of commercial banks in Nigeria. How did it started in Nigeria? How did we start to use the different banks that we are known to use in our country today? So, commercial banking started in Nigeria in 172 by the establishment of African Banking Corporation, which is known as ABC. Then, the bank is endowed with the responsibility of distributing Banks of England notes for the British Treasury. So you understand that when the white men were still in Nigeria, so these are what have been in use then. Also, later in 1894, the Bank of British West Africa, now called the First Bank of Nigeria, was established in Nigeria. So it was after several years then the First Bank of Nigeria was established, after which the Union Bank of Nigeria, which we know as UBA, formerly called the Barclay Bank, was also established. So I'm very sure you get that. So we'll move on to the origin. So continuation of our discussion of the origin of commercial bank. At that time, Nigeria is still battling with the development of our economic system. So the bank were created to provide financial and other banking services for the colonial administration and also the British commercial interest. Also, the two administration continues to enjoy the monopoly until 1933, when the National Bank of Nigeria came into existence and as such becoming the first indigenous bank, which survived after the collapse of industrial and commercial bank and the Nigerian Mercantile Bank. So between 1945 and the present time, the indigenous commercial banking system has undergone a period of turbulence, which most of them moving out of the business as a result of insufficient funds, lack of management and patronage, and many more. So the intervention of the government has brought the development of commercial bank till present time. That's a brief origin of commercial bank in Nigeria. So we'll move down to the types of banks that we have. There are different kinds of banks in Nigeria. We have the central bank, as we know, the CBN. The CBN is referred to as the government bank, and it acts as a banker to other banks. It is the apex bank and it controls all other banks. Likewise, we have the commercial bank, which is the main topic of discussion. These are the most relevant banks to trade. They carry out their commercial activities to make profit like any other business. Some of the commercial banks in Nigeria, First Banks, which you know, Union Bank, UBA, Zenith Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, Access Bank, and many other types of bank. That is the picture of Central Bank of Nigeria, government bank. Likewise, other types of banks, we have the mortgage bank. The mortgage bank. These are banks that are into granting loans to individuals and corporate bodies for building purposes. So mortgage bank give out loans to an individual or corporate for the purpose of building. Yes, example of mortgage bank are Union Homes, we are in Savings Limited. We have AG Homes and Savings Limited, etc. All these are examples of mortgage bank. So anyone who is interested in getting loans for the purpose of building will have to meet up with the mortgage bank. So we also have another type of bank, which is merchant bank. The merchant bank, these are banks which perform special functions such as accepting bills of exchange, issuing new shares, issuing loans for foreign transactions. They are sometimes called as acceptance houses. They are also known as acceptance houses. The examples of Merchant Bank of Africa, we have Merchant Bank of Africa, First City Merchant Bank. So we have Development Bank also. These are banks which provide long-term credit or loan to other enterprises for capital projects. So these are types of banks that we have. Also, we move on to functions of commercial banks, and these are very important. So we are going to be limiting ourselves to commercial bank since it's the main topic. So number one function, they accept deposits, money or other valuables from customers for safekeeping. Also, they lend to customers. They serve as agents of payment. They provide financial advice to their customers, and they facilitate international trade. These are functions of commercial bank as you can see in that image. So let's give a brief summary. also videos there. You can watch them to understand more better about our discussion today. So, and there's an assignment also where you need to practice. So these are series of questions for you to practice on your own to understand what the discussion of the class is and to assess yourself about the class. Thank you.